guys could see this, once again, I had to make an alteration to the camera because I'm trying to get people to see what the pedal's doing. And of course, nothing comes with instructions anymore, right? Okay, guys. So, let's see if I get this going here. So we are live. I'm going to do a quick demo on the Digitech Rp360xp going into the Jamman stereo loop pedal, and it has some really cool features that if you have to do a one-man band thing, or even when you're playing with a band, and let's say you guys got 2 sets, you only were set up for 2 sets to play, and then guess what? Everyone likes you so much, the club owner says, I'll give you each $100 each if you do another set. And now you're stuck with improvising or something to that effect. All right, well, this is a good setup that you could use to get around that, especially if you're a creative person. This is where these things come and they shine. And I know that there is a lot of great effect processors out there, and I'm not knocking any of them because I think they're all great. But what this has that a lot of them does not have is this patch in here called Play Your Bass. It's not just an octave divider. It almost sounds like a bass guitar. So if you are in situations that you want to create a whole band sound with that Play Your Bass, and in conjunction with the loop pedal, you could actually create an entire backing track right on the fly. The last video I put up, I think I titled it The Broke Ass Blues. Well, that was the house that was selling for $1.9 million, and that was a gig that they hired. They call it hobnobbing, with everyone through different businesses get together and they connect. They network with each other, and they do this in these houses that are for sale because all the realtors also connect and network. So they'll usually have me play for a few hours, and there's no space or budget for a full band. So they hire me, and I come in and I do my thing. And because they don't just want to hear classical guitar style, they like the electric guitar as well. This is a good option. So let me stop blabbing here, and I'm going to do a demo here on how this works. Now, this right here will be your foot switch to engage the record, and then the play and the overdub. But you could also pull out, if you do layers, you could pull out the previous overdub by hitting the switch and holding this down. This is my instrument input volume. That's the loop volume. Now, I know this might look in reverse. My guitar signal, my guitar comes into here, and the output goes into here. So if it looks like I'm running a loop pedal through the effect processor, I'm not. It's just that when I play classical guitar, I'll use the same setup, and my left foot I always have on a footrest, little footstool, because I play in the classical guitar position. So it leaves my right foot free to do all my clicking and things of that nature. So let me grab the guitar, and I'm going to start demoing just guitar loop, and then later I'm going to demo, guitar and drums and things, what this could do in conjunction with this whole setup. And again, I hope this is going live. If not, then it'll go up on reruns. I am still getting used to how everything is working. I really wish it would work a lot better than what it does. But anyways, so here we go. This is my clean tone, well, with a little bit of chorus. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to loop a little chord progression, and then I'm going to play a melody over that. A clean melody and also a dirty melody. Distortion. Okay, here we go. The trick is, as soon as you play the chord, hit the foot switch. Now, some of these will have a function that will engage as soon as you hit the strings. You'll start recording. But the problem is, let's say you're getting ready to record something and you accidentally touch the strings and you get this out by mistake, or little things like that. It'll pick up on the loop, and I don't want that, so I use just a simple function. So here we go. I'm going to give a 3 count and then hit the switch and start playing. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's see how seamless this loop came out. Alright, you see there's a little glitch there. It's all timing. Listen. See that? Little glitch. So I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to clear that. Now I could hit the stop function and hold down the stop, and it's going to clear. CL means clear. Now the loop is gone. Okay, so let's try that again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Well, I would help if I had my volume up, right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, a little bit glitch there. So sometimes you'll have to work with this, and I want people to see this because when you're new to this, you're going to experience this, and even when you're experienced doing this, you're going to go through this. So, and then always make sure that if you're sitting or you're standing, that you're comfortable, because that's going to play a whole, that's going to play into all of this as well. So, here we go. Okay, guys, I guess once again, something happened. You know, this never works out right? And, so I got a little mirror because I have to have the screen face down because I tried to. Yeah, there we go. Isn't it something? Isn't technology something? Make it where it works. Simple. Let me tell you something. I know a lot of you guys are my age and older. We long for the days of simplicity. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. I thank God. I think, you know what school I went to? Sidewalk University, my friends. The School of Hard Knocks. Anyways, here we go. We're going to try this again. And I apologize about this. Tell you what, if I had my way, things would be working. Simple. Okay, here we go. We're going to go ahead and lay that loop down. Going 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Alright, what's this? Now when you play over it, this is what you got. Okay, it's pretty much cut and dry what you could do as far as you record and then you hit the play. You could also overdub as well, and then your stop function, and then that's your loop up, and that's your loop down. Now, again, everything is timing on that downbeat. So, and the most experienced guitarists will go into situations like this. That's why we try to have things on solid ground or solid pad, because sometimes you don't hit the switch all the way and you might think you do. All these things are variables that happen that, that play into everything. Okay, so we're still on live. That's good. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys why I use these two together. And so I'm going to change to a different channel here. And I'm going to pull a drum pattern because this has built-in drums. And I'm going to show you how you can layer a loop and then save it and then go into the next loop. So if you want to take a song in 2 different parts or 3 different parts or whatever, and how you could save things and have this seamless loop going back and forth when you hit these switches. This pedal What's nice about it, you right out of the box, you get the adapter and you got the options to go up and down loops. It does not come with the SD card, but you do not need the SD card to get this to use to work. I know the very first Jamman that came out it had different switches and it had that big smart media card. From what I remember, you needed to have that card to get the thing to work, but this you don't. What's really cool with this is that you could go between your live looping or the SD card, and this is where all the magic really comes into play, because if you have to play 3 or 4 hours, you could literally do all that with these two pedals all night long if you had to. And I've been in those situations, so it does work. It's always good to have backups. I have two of these, so I always have a backup in case something happens. Just like I have to have this mirrored because I cannot see if my screen is still on. Yep, we're still on. We're still live. And I hope I'm not boring people with this. So, here we go. Now, here with this, you have a drum function. So we're going to hit this. And I'm going to make sure it's not too loud. And I'm just going to hit something real basic. It's just for the purpose of doing the demo here. Okay. Now, if I don't like that pattern, I pick something else. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll go back to that. What the hell, right? Now, this is good because you have this drum pattern, and if you want a time where the downbeat is, this is a good idea to do this because you have this loop. Here we go. I just layered my rhythm guitar with drums, and because this is your on and off switch, I was able to shut the drums off. Now I'm only going between C minor 7 and F minor 7. I don't have my turnaround in there yet because I want to show you how you can do this. I'm going to get out of the drum function. Hope I'm not talking too loud, you know what I mean? I'm going to get out of drum function. Now I'm back into my guitar mode. I'm going to go up to play my bass. The bass in there. If you have headphones, you'll hear the bass in there. Or if you want to do a bigger speaker, you hear the bass in there. Now, if I'm happy with this, I'm going to hit right here. This is my store button. This is going to flash. I'll hit it again. Store. Now it's stored in there. Now, to make sure that that's stored in number 14, I'll go up to number 15 where I have no loop. Come back down. Aha. See that little indicator light means it's stored. So I'm going to go back up to number 15. I'm going to get out of my bass mode here. Go back to my rhythm guitar. Hit my drum pattern. Now I'm going to record what my turnaround would be. And I hope it's not too loud. You know. this is what happens because the way the drum pattern is set, it's set at a certain pattern, so you have to wait for the pattern to finish. If you notice there's a roll, it'll come back into the downbeat and things of that nature. So I messed up. It happens, right? So and this is good that you see this because you'll go through this exact same thing. So now we're going to do that turnaround, and then let's see what happens here. Here we go. I'm gonna do is get out of there, add my bass line. Satisfied with that, hit the save. Okay. Now I got that stored. Now, and I'm gonna make sure that we're still on live, guys. So I can apologize about this. And whatever you guys miss on this live session, don't worry about it because it'll go back up on reruns and things of that nature. Okay. Now, there's a reason why I just picked a real simple blues pattern. It's so you can hear the bass. And when I play bass patterns, I actually try to approach it as a bass. And it's real simple stuff that I do, my friends. Whether I'm playing Latin jazz or metal, I'll even do the same thing in metal when it's required. And also in like blues. My bass patterns will usually be the root, the fifth, and the octave. And go back. And maybe I'll slide up to the next note up. And just to kind of fill it out. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my original loop that I layered. I'm going to hit it. I'm not going to play anything over it. And I want you to hear how seamless you could go from one part of a song to another part of the song. Okay, so here we go. How seamless that was. And if you notice, as number 14 is playing, I hit my loop up switch. It goes to number 15, but number 15 is flashing because it's waiting for the loop to be finished on number 14. When that loop is finished, then automatically it goes right into number 15 and vice versa. So when I hit the loop down, number 14 comes up, it flashes, and when the loop is done with number 15, boom, it comes back to 14. Now, and this is something you could do right in with the SD card or the internal memory. I think the internal memory you only have, you're limited to like 30 minutes, but the SD card, depending on the size, you could literally go for hours, my friends. And I've never done this where I hooked it up to the computer, but I've been told that when you hook it up to the computer, sorry guys, when you hook it up to the computer, you can get an additional 99 slots, so it means you get like 200 slots. But right out of the box, you get 99 slots. So, depending on how long your songs are, you could do quite a few sets there. Now, again, the reason why I did that with the blues pattern is so you could hear the bass, hear the clean guitar, hear the drums, and all of that. I'm gonna just play something real brief to give you a demonstration on what you could do. The reason why I looped my turnaround in this blues progression onto a different loop. Let's say I want to ride with what I have on number 14, which would be like my verse and yeah, the verse section. I could ride on that section as long as I want if I want a solo. And then when I'm ready to come out of my solo section, hit number 15, now I got my turnaround. This is very common if people want to extend a part of a song to improvise over. So you're getting as close to a live session, live playing with live musicians as you can. Even though that it is a drum machine, and once it's looped, it is going to be, looped. You know what I mean? It's a track, it's a backing track. But the way you separate it, you can get as close to a live improvisational section as possible. Again, none of this stuff, no matter how elaborate they make it, will ever replace live musicians. It just simply won't. But here's the problem: what's going on out there with these clubs? A lot of these people are on a very, very tight budget. Some of them are crying wolf they don't have money and they don't want to spend money, and some of them are very legit that they don't have that much money. So to be creative, to get around all this new, the new era we're in gigging compared to the 80s, and there's a lot of us out there that were gigging very heavily in the 1980s. Even though I started in 74, I was playing in school, and actually my first gig was either late 74 or early 1975 for assembly. We had 300 people. I can tell you right now, 300 people is a lot more than going to some of these clubs these days. But it'll vary, everything varies. But my whole point is that you have to be creative if you want to get work. And if a person doesn't, they want to use this for their own personal preference, go ahead. That's what all this is for. It's all about sharing, your experiences and then just playing music in general. It's a great stress reliever. Okay, so again, I don't mean to be blabbing all the time, but I do want to be as clear as I possibly can. Anyways, so now I'm going to demo playing a melody over that. Oh, if you could see this, I have this off to the side. I have the FS3X foot switch. This is optional, and the reason why I have it hooked up to here, that's the switch I use to go up and down my banks, so that if I want to turn on and off individual effects, I can. That's why I do that. So, anyways, let's go ahead and play a little melody over that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So you see what I mean? You could stretch out what would be your verse plus slash your solo section. You can stretch that out. You can even stretch that out for a verse section. And if a person wants to start improvising on lyrics, because in blues it's not uncommon. Really, guys, in any kind of music, it's not uncommon. It really isn't. How many times back in the day we go to a concert and people would stretch out, a metal song, they'd stretch it out to get the crowd's, the audience response to it. So that's what you could do with stuff like this. And again, I'm not saying that this is the best. I'm saying this works the best for me. And here's the deal. When these first came out, they were $2.99. Now you can get them for like $2.50, something like that. Same thing. This is $1.99. Yeah, $1.99. Sometimes they run a special on it. $1.49. I know that some of the sounds in this RP is not all that great compared to some other stuff. Okay. You pick the stuff that you like, you tailor it to get as best sound as possible, and then you go with it. Because the reality is, I remember when MXR first came out with a foot switch like this, and this had to be either between 1979 and 1981, because one of my friends had it, and we were still in high school, and it was a floor unit. So we didn't have a whole lot of really high end stuff like we had now. But you know what we did? We did the best with what we could. We pulled that sound out as best as we possibly could. So that right there, it's everything like Shane from In the Blues says. Everything is subjective. You do what works for you. Now, here's the deal. I run all this stuff into a powered PA speaker, and the reason why I do that is because if you're just gonna do guitar looping, where you're just gonna loop over guitar sound, then yeah, you could run it right into a guitar amp. You'll be fine. But the problem is, as soon as you add any type of drums or bass or anything like that, it sounds very boxy. Because honestly, I don't care what kind of cabinet, what kind of speaker you use. If it's tailored for guitar, it's in the mid-range EQ section. And now there's a lot of them that will sound really good, so I ain't trying to say anything bad about that. But when you compare it to a PA speaker is all full range. All right, guys. Once again, the camera just, I don't know how far into the video it crapped out. So I apologize about this, but there's the gig. There's the gear right there on the floor. I had to do this. I originally had the camera set to in reverse to point right down to the pedal. And as soon as I hit the go live, the thing reversed and I couldn't go back. And yeah, you know how that is. Crazy. But I just, oh, sorry guys. I just think that there's something going on with, I'm not going to knock YouTube. I love YouTube. I think it's great. They're just probably overwhelmed with how many videos they're just being bombarded with. But anyways, I hope some came out where you could understand the reason why I use these products and the functionality of it, because it does work. It really does work. It works in my situations, and there might be some of you that might be in the same situation. You get hired to do a gig, and the club owner has no space. They put you in a corner. Or they have no stage. They take the stage out and they put tables in. Because in their mind, if I put more tables, that means I get more customers, and to hell with the band. That's the reality. That's what's happening out there. Another thing is, if you do any type of corporate gigs, you get hired to do a corporate gig, and they don't want it to be too loud, and they want to get the most sound out of a live person without hiring a DJ. This is another way you could do this. I'm telling you guys, there really is all types of ways you can make money out there as a musician. You just sometimes we have to swallow our pride. And us guitar players, man, I'll tell you what, we love to rock. We love to rock out. We love to get that that spotlight. But there's nothing wrong with humbling yourself. You'd be surprised. It's gotten me a lot further if I were to go the other route with a big hat and I'm not better than anybody, man. I'm just me, acting. Thanks, Rocket Day. All right, hey, I appreciate that, guys. Really appreciate that. Ben Coombs, I really appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it, and try to give you guys a whole shout out. I'm trying to get a board fixed where the backdrop you could see everyone's names. The thing is, I did write it on a piece of paper, and I didn't realize that everything's in reverse. So try to get the shout out, because I really believe in fairness, and I believe in helping people as well, as using things to help us out, because that's what it's all about, right? Anyways, my friends, I gotta hurry up and get running, because I got a student I gotta teach in Cape Harbor, so it's about 45-minute drive for me, depending on traffic. Here's another thing with down here in Florida. There's not a whole lot of roads. Like back up in the cities, we got a lot of roads. There's some side streets, but then there'll be a dead end because there's these canals. And then sometimes the people drive slow down here. I mean slow. All right, my friends, rock on, everybody. We will see you Saturday. I'll be answering the questions that we touched on subjects last Saturday. Plus, I'll start talking a little bit about Chicago blues and some of the blues guitarists that no one's really heard of, because it's always they got one perspective on Chicago blues, and that's the only perspective. And I used to live down the street from all these blues clubs, so and then we'll start talking later on with other videos on rare guitars. And what I mean by that, guitar builders that came out, they came and went, and they disappeared. And, as things evolve, we'll be interviewing all you guys. But until next time, until Saturday, you guys have a great week, great day. And I think we'll be on a live chat tonight with our Metal Stage podcast. Rock on, JJ House of Jams. You guys rock. God bless all you. We'll see you next time. Take care.